All right, aloha friends. Brian Goss with GM Sports Media, Game Time with the Goss, powered by Great Wolf Promotions and K9 Kind Resort. My guest today is my good buddy, the Chocolate Bear, Kenny Matthews of Friday Night Glory, as well as Inside High School Sports. And we're going to dive into some softball as the UIL softball season just started this week. So, Kenny, welcome back to the show.
Man, it's always great to be on, buddy. I mean, it's our fun season. We love the softball season, so let's get it on.
Yes, we do. And I guess we can't really start a softball show without talking about the number one team in the nation, the Melissa Cardinals, back-to-back state champs, national champs by Max Preps last year, 76 wins in our last 80 games, and a national record 122 home runs last season. Kenny, I mean, first off, they graduated a couple of starters, but overall. They have 8 starters that are committed or signed. All 6 in the infield are going to D1 programs. Can anyone stop Melissa, or are they going to go for this unprecedented three-peat?
Well, the thing about Melissa, I think we kind of talked about it a little bit before. 2 years ago, May's got a little state, experience,
Yeah, as
which
a
paid off for
freshman,
her,
yeah,
and what paid off big time for him there last year. Now she comes back as the 3 year kind of chiseled vet now, and it's just amazing to me the surrounding parts that they have over there. I mean, we kind of talked yesterday about Finley Williams when her on base percentage has just got to be off the charts with as many walks and hits that she gets with Bradley Winter. I mean, there's Lulu. There's just so many weapons that the length of their lineup, you can maybe get them the first time around, maybe the second time around, but that third time around in that line, they're going to figure out the pitcher by then. So you better get to them early because you're not going to get them late. But think about this for Casey. She can graduate at Paisley Needham. You can graduate, obviously, her daughter, who's hitting bombs now for the University of Texas now as a true freshman. I mean, you can lose those two and that would cripple most teams going into the following season. They are the odds-on favorite. It's. I mean, it'll be a huge upset to me if they don't hoist that trophy again in June.
yeah. Mays split time as a freshman, did very well. 9-0 on the season from the circle, like you mentioned when they went to Austin and kind of had some trouble there, some zone trouble. I think she walked a few, but they were able to win it. And then coming back next year as the number one, really the only I guess the ace of that pitching rotation, and she finishes with 32 wins and was voted state champ MVP. So uh, we'll love to see what's in store this year. But yeah,
Let me ask you this question: do you think that the new state format helps? You know, if you just have an ace, you can pitch that state semifinal game on Monday or Tuesday, and then boom,
yeah, you
you
get
have
some
rest.
rest. Yeah,
You have rest. It's not back to back days. I mean, that's huge now.
yeah, it definitely helps. With Melissa, and I asked Cassie this the other day when she was on the show. Again, they lose Kagan Crabtree, your daughter, and they lose Paisley Needham. That's about 30 home runs combined loss. Where do you see where if you gave me a ballpark number? I mean, can they hit 100 at least?
I think Lulu will hit more this year than maybe she did last year. So you can get some of that production there. Does Finley swing for it a little bit more this year, or does she kind of just stay the course, get on base, steal second, get the third,
Yeah.
get in? I mean, there's potential for some spots where people I think, can step up. But I think that if Finley does try to swing for the fences a little bit, that kind of takes a little bit away from her game. Yes, she has the ability to go probably hit 15 home runs, but would you rather her be on base 3 out of 4
Yeah, and
instead?
then let someone like a Lulu Adrian or Kenny
Right,
Bradley drive her in.
right.
Um,
Double-edged
yeah,
sword.
yeah, I think Lulu had 17 last year. She had 22 as a freshman, so I think she could be around 20 again.
Right.
Finley had 19 last year, had an amazing start. I think she had eight within the first week or two. I think the two, or actually the three girls that I'm looking out for is the second baseman, Shug Bradford. I think
Yes.
she's gonna have she did very good last year, but I think you could see more home runs for her. Izzy Gonzalez next to her at first, and then Rihanna
That's
Wheeler, who was
yeah.
primarily DP last year. She's expected to be the right fielder. She probably will get double digits after having like seven or eight last year. So it'll be really interesting and fun to see if they can crack 100 here. And yeah, we'll see.
Well, I thought Casey made a great point on your pod the other day was, you asked her which one's more rewarding, the first one or the second one. And I thought she made a really good point when she says, well, obviously the first one you always remember, but the second one, when you're the hunted and you're able to take care of business, it means a little bit more. Now,
Yeah.
does it mean a little bit more if you get to do it a third time? Because she's the hunted now for sure. I mean, that's, you know, with all the stuff that's gone around the program the last couple of years, everybody's coming after this year. But I think she's got a really good set of good kids, between Mays, Finley, and Bradley. If you talk to them off the field, they're just really good people. They're level headed. And I think that they don't have egos. So I think that that's probably the reason why they got that hunger. It's not about them, it's about the Melissa Cardinal softball team.
And she mentioned that the girls, just being competitors, they want to kind of one up each other. That's why we're seeing so many home runs because someone's got 20 and the other one wants 21, 22. So that's why the home run totals keep going. Yeah, favorites, they're probably favorites in 2027. Kennedy, Kennedy, Bradley, and I think Hattie Winder and center, the only senior starters. So, they're going to have this next couple of years, a very good run. Looking at 6A, the two teams that stood out last year was Denton Guyer and Forney in 6A D2. You had Flower Mound in 6A D1.
Mhm.
Forney coming up short in the title game. Flower Mound losing in three games in the semis to Waco Midway, the eventual D1 champ. Out of those three, I mean, do you see all three getting to the same point next this season? And who's kind of the favorite to go down to Austin?
Well, I mean, with Flower Mound, obviously the way she pitched last year was
Bella
just
Flores, yeah,
the floors. I mean, it's almost similar to what Finley Montgomery was kind of, her freshman year kind of
and
going up
Geyer,
there,
yeah,
at Geyer. I mean, it was kind of almost it's very the parallels to me are very similar. Um, what a tough loss for Flower Mound last year. I was there at Midlothian when they lost to Waco Midway. I mean, just think about this: Waco Midway has the tough loss the year before in the state
yeah,
championship game. They
the
battle back.
Mexico, yeah.
Yep, they come back here. We still have that player on our website on Friday Night Glory.
It's still pinned on my Twitter. So
you know, but I mean, they had the lead, then they have to give it up. They didn't play so well down the stretch a little bit there, but by just osmosis, she's going to be much better this year. And I mean, you got Big Nell. I mean, they're a loaded team in Flower Mound. But I mean, I think Flower Mound to me would be the one that I would probably say that they will get to state for sure. Forney, yes. I mean, you gotta love gotta love Emmy, obviously on the mound for
Santos,
them.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you've got to love them. The pedigree is there. They seem to be hungry. They seem to be hungry. Denton Geyer, I mean, it's the dark horse, I guess. I mean, I've read your article. I can't believe this is 21st year that Coach Medford's been there. It's got wow.
we love
But
Keith Medford.
yes, we do.
We love all the
Can
Medfords, really.
yes. Can they finally get one? I mean, it's got to be agonizing to be so close, but yet be so far from not actually having the state championship, for them. But they bring a loaded roster back with Joyner and O'Brien. I mean, just yeah. Is anybody going to help Finley Montgomery a little bit on the mound? That would be
Yeah.
that would be the thing for me. Not to get her worn out late in the season, but I mean, she's been a horse for 3 years already. I mean, so I mean, the Notre Dame commit now she's got swinging the stick in the middle of the lineup. Also, I would just want somebody to help, somebody to come in and give a few innings here and there, so that way she is fresh down the stretch. But I mean, Coach Bedford, he gets more softball than I know, so I mean, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. With Flower Mound, um, I don't know. Last year, to me, it seemed like because you had Geyer and Forney and D2, the D1 bracket was
Yeah,
just a hair, easier. Still tough,
yes,
but
yeah,
easier. If uh, if Flower Mound is able to limit Bella's innings here early on, and even throughout district, and kind of keep her fresh. That pitching rotation is pretty deep. Daphne Gallison uh, did a great job as the number two last year. Audrey Kruk, I believe, missed a lot of time last season with an injury. She's back. So, if you can have two other pitchers,
yes.
playing the tournaments, those 5 days or 5 games a day here the first month, play those those bottom teams in district. Just keep Bella fresh. They'll be there back again. Probably with the matchup with rematch with Midway. And then with Geyer and Forney, I think similar. I mean, Emmy Santos uh, split duties with Kaylee Slade last year. Slade's gone now, so I don't know what Forney has with the rotation, but pretty
Yeah.
similar, I think. Finley and Emmy, they're probably the only ones there that's going to pitch 90-95% of the innings. So they'll be interested to see come April and May if the fatigue will set in or if they can get back there and meet up in the state semis again.
And what, the toughest district in softball in the state of Texas? Geyer, Flower Mound, Marcus. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
I
Hebron,
mean,
yeah.
Hebron. I mean, it's a dogfight. So those are pressure innings. Those are pressure pitches that those guys are pitching in district. You can't afford, to take a team lightly in district. So, yeah, you always want somebody to kind of spot them. I think it does get a little easier in district play when you play on a Tuesday, Friday, or a Wednesday, Saturday, whatever, because you can get some rest there, But playoff time, you want to win game one, and you like to rest your ace game two sometimes. Save them for game three, or come in game two, late in the inning to close it out. So to me, the team that can figure out their secondary pitching, before district, I think will have a huge advantage to get back to state for sure. Or I guess we call it state, but I know,
Down to Austin, yeah.
yeah, yeah, get to Austin.
I'd like to give a shout out to one of our partners, K9 Kind Resort, the new doggy daycare in Justin, Texas. You won't find anything like it out there. K9 Kind Resort, they offer boarding, daycare, and grooming services for a man's best friend. In honor of number 9, Ashley Fouts, Elizabeth and Bill Fouts and their staff will make sure your doggy is taken care of with playtime, treats, and more. So when you go on your next vacation, please consider K9 Kind Resorts. You can call them at 940-946-4444 or visit their website at k9kindresort.com. Talking with Kenny Matthews, Friday Night Glory, and Inside High School Sports. You mentioned Geyer. Can they get over that hump? Because the last, they've been to at least the state
Regionals.
semis and regionals the last 3 or 4 years now. Can they get over the hump? Kind of similar case with Aledo and 5AD1. They've been to state. They've been to the Final Four 4 times in the last 5 years under Heather Myers. Only the only team in 5A or 6A to do that, but no titles to show for it. What do you expect from Aledo? I mean, we both expect Aledo to be back down there and probably meet up with a Melissa again, which obviously is going to be hard to overtake them unless Melissa somehow goes down to D2, which is a possibility. But what are you seeing from Aledo this year?
The thing about it, Goss, I think we've been there every time, and it just seems like she's just had hard luck losses, Coach Myers for Aledo. I think about Macy Graff's, junior year, the way they lost. And I think about last year, 2 years ago, what was the 1-0 game, I believe it was, against, oh, Westlaco. What was it? What?
Oh, when they played away
Yeah.
from Austin with the rain.
Yes. Was it
Yeah.
Westlaco? Was it? No, Westlaco beat
It
Geyer.
was I think it was Harlingen South.
Thank you. Harlingen South. Thank you. Thank you. That's what it was. Yes, Harlingen South. I mean, think about that game. I mean, Gonzalez pitched her tail off in that game, up there. Gives up one hit, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was
The bloop
maybe
hit.
yeah, blooper
It's
infield
right.
single, something like that.
Yeah, it's the right field that you lose 1-0. I mean, I just hate giving Coach Myers those hugs at the end of the game because you know that their team has played so hard to get there. But you made a great point. They could get there, yes, but you still have to beat, you have to beat off the big giant, and I'm not sure if Aledo's equipped to beat Melissa. Now, I know it's a one game set. I know things can happen to them, but I mean, obviously, Melissa's the favorite. So, Aledo,
They'll definitely be cheering on for Melissa to go D2 because again, that's a possibility.
I mean, I just don't know if they're an overwhelming favorite like they've been in the past. I guess I should say. Lido's always had that stud pitcher over the 4 years ago. They had that murderous row lineup that they had when they had Texas and all those guys and Macy leading off. I mean, are they as talented as that team is? I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure just yet. But yes, Lido definitely can get back to the state semis for sure.
The smaller schools, you got 4A, 3A, 3A D1, Grandview down there, the Zebras looking for their fourth trip to Austin. Finally got over the hump with the 3A D1 title last year. Maddie Doty, UT signee, two-time gold medalist. She's
Read she's a top player and she's top. Is she a top three player in the nation now? Was she ranked as the top three? I think it
I
was.
have her as number one in the area. There's so many media outlets that have her
Yeah,
first or second or third. So yeah,
yeah. I
but
mean, but it seems like she's been there 6 years.
yeah,
And,
but yeah, she's back senior year. I mean, I expect no less, than at least playing at UT there for Grandview.
right, right, right. And think about the game she had at UT last year. In the finals. I mean, she did everything last year.
I mean, the last 3 years, last
Yeah,
every game they've played what 4 games at UT now because
yeah.
freshman year was semis,
Semis. That's
um,
right.
sophomore year was lost in the title game, and then last year just having the championship there. So yeah, she's been all state all tournament all 3 years. Last year MVP. She's got a couple home runs down there. She's pitched every game. So yeah, she's
Mhm.
just incredible to watch. And for Grandview, they have I think 5 starters back, a couple of other college and college commits and signees. So yeah, they should be down there again.
What's their secret? It just they're small. Yes, they're small enrollment, but man, that program is really good when it comes to athletics. I mean, it's that what is in the water down there in Grandview that they're always knocking on the door at least. I mean, it's I'm not going to say that they're always the leader in the clubhouse every time, but they're a tough out. And obviously you got a generational player in Maddie this year. That's you know
She'll be missed.
yeah, she'll be missed. That's you don't replace that next year, but we don't have to worry about that. It's 2026. We can just enjoy it.
Before I ask you about 4A, just you have the other 3A schools to watch. You got Boyd with Abby Atkinson.
Yeah,
You have Whitesboro who lost to Grandview in the title game. Avery Howerton's the pitcher. You also have S&S who had an unbelievable run and almost knocked off Kahoma in the semis.
yeah.
Hayden Bam Mowry, their pitcher has been lights out. And then even Gunner, Gunner's still a pretty young team, but they made it all the way to the regional semis, I think, against Whitesboro. So I think those are the 4 teams to watch out for.
Yes,
Even
sir.
Peaster in Region 1 could make some noise. They're a very young squad. So they could go pretty far. In terms of 4A, the team that has always been the best has been Aubrey. They went to the state championship, lost to Robinson last year. This incredible 3-year stretch under head coach James Ramsey. I don't know, Kenny. This might be a rebuilding year.
That's what I was.
They lost a
They
lot of
lost a lot last
starters.
year.
They
Yeah.
lost both pitchers in Maya Cherry and Molly Reed. Tamia Cherry at short, Carmen Alexander at third. You still have Abby Lynch Buxton behind the plate as catcher,
Ole
but
Miss. Ole
who
Miss.
you know who's going to pitch? Is it a rebuilding year for Aubrey?
Yeah, well, I think we kind of thought last year was their year. They kind of built up to, veteran, gone through the, tough losses in the playoffs, builds you tougher. They lost in the state championship game, and you knew that a lot was going to go out that door to go play in college. So you knew that that was going to be, a different team this year. Obviously, you got Abby behind the plate, which is always great to have a
He needs to
4 year.
find a way to pitch and catch.
Yeah, yeah, no kid. Big stick, leadership, dual, plays other sports. I mean, you love that, but I mean, that team needs to grow up real quick, real quick to go make it to state. And I mean, that's kind of what you think about with Aubrey. It's almost state or bust now because they've just played so well the last few years. Now, I'm not saying that that's right, but it'll be disappointing if they don't make a deep run in the playoffs this year. And I think that's undue pressure because you graduated a lot of significant talent last year. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out and start. I think it'll be big for them as if they can get off to a good start and build some confidence. I think that would be big for Auburn for me.
Yeah, they're in the same district now with Prosper Richland, who's in their first season. Alexis Cantu from Reedy just led Reedy to an unprecedented district title. She moves over to take over that program, and she also grabs Wakeland's Allison Fair, who's now her assistant.
Assistant.
So, and they take half the team from Prosper High, who coming off a 6A
Yeah.
district title, including Sam Riley, who's going to Missouri Southern, and then you have TJ Spain, who's also committed. So. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see those two duke it out. That's a pretty tough district. But I
That's a
kind of,
pretty good team for a first year team.
I mean, outside of football, volleyball went 3 rounds deep, and basketball, so girls basketball won a district title. So
Mhm.
yeah, they're off to a great first year. But yeah, same district at Aubrey. I think, I put down, I like Richland to win that district. As far as how far they will go, there's some pretty tough competition in 4A. Um, Brock is
Wrong.
one comes to mind. I know the Region One, but had a great year last season. Allie Coleman is back, just a sophomore pitcher. Um, yeah, I don't, is there anyone else that stands out in 4A?
I'm glad you brought up Brock because they've been kind of knocking on that door too a little bit, getting there. I think Brock has got a little length in their lineup here, but I always thought that third round game has always been kind of tough for them. But you can get by that third round game, I think they got an excellent shot to get to state though, for sure.
Yeah, and that's a tough region too because you have Brock in District 6, you have Springtown and Eagle Mountain District 7. And then you have a couple good teams out west. Going back to Region Two, I don't know if you can string along a couple of wins, you got a
Yes,
shot.
got a
There's
shot.
a couple of teams out in East Texas. Canton comes to mind. I know they've played Aubrey in the past. Yeah, if Richland and even Aubrey, Salina, Crum, if they can string along a couple playoff wins, who knows? They could be there in the semis and even
Yeah.
in Austin.
And I think you build confidence through that. If you get through those first couple of rounds here, I think you got confidence because you've played some really good, talented teams to get to that point. So you realize that you are a good softball team. And it's not like you're playing, a DISD school first round, and maybe Fort Worth ISD in the second round. You're playing tough competition, and I think that's what builds the confidence. That's why I think the Metroplex does so well. Now we're not winning enough state championships, but we are having enough people
We
get to
need more,
state.
definitely.
Yeah, so I wonder if we're just beating ourselves up so much that they
I
don't have
think
anything
so.
left.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I definitely think so. Just wrap up here. I'll talk a little bit about the private schools, and if you want to chime in, you can. Obviously,
Yes,
Plano John Paul the second is above everyone else. D1 champs, 3 years in the last five
oh,
seasons. Been to Arlington all 5 years.
5 years. Okay, so Las Vegas.
Lost a very good pitcher in Carly Holman. KP Walters looks like the next man up, next woman up. Got a couple of commits there. Bridget Mulligan, she looks very good. The Houston commit. Um, and then the other one that won state last year in D3 was Dallas Christian. Was a walk-off, their first title in program history.
Yeah.
A couple of good kids, Zaylee Freeman at short, Michigan State, and Chloe Rodriguez, the pitcher, going to SFA. So I definitely think with D1, D1, there's just not as many teams. It always seems to be the same four teams.
Yes.
So I think JP2 is the heavy favorite. They're probably going to face maybe a Antonian Prep again, who all three titles they beat them, and then Dallas Christian. I think they just kind of got the hot hand and they got some good starters back. And then finally with D2, there's a lot of good schools, all in the same district, really. Grapevine Fate, Fort Worth Christian, Southwest Christian, and All Saints, all in the same district. So,
Wow.
three or four of those teams could make a deep playoff run. D4, you got Dallas First Baptist, who lost to Crowley Nazarene last year, but Nazarene, we'll see how they do. They lost their best player in program history. And then finally with the SBC, you got Fort Worth Country Day looking for their third state title in the last 4 years. Came up short in the semis last season, and also in the semis, Fort Worth Trinity Valley. So let's see if they can get down there. They'll be playing in Houston later on this season. But yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I know we're still kind of locked in with basketball, girls basketball playoffs about to start, boys a week later. But we're ready to get rolling there on the
Yes.
diamond. I know you are too, Kenny.
I'm jonesing for it. Like I said, guys, you got me into softball about 9 years ago or 8 years ago. I can't remember what it was, man. And it's passion time now, man. I appreciate you igniting the fire because, man, I love covering softball, and number one reason I really do is because the parents and the coaches in softball are just a different breed. They're
Yeah, they're
just a
some of the
different breed.
best parents and coaches in
Yeah,
all the sports. So
they're
we really
absolutely,
appreciate them for really
absolutely.
everything.
And hey, I also need to pump up your magazine, man. It's an outstanding read, gosh. You nailed it again.
I
You got the
appreciate
gift
it.
of writing. You got the gift of writing. I wish I had just a little bit of that writing gift, but I don't.
Well, you
But
got the
man,
gift. You got the talking gift. We can combine.
well, there you go. We'll just combine it together. But man, that magazine is a must read. It is great. The graphics, everything that's in there. I know you put countless hours into that.
Yeah.
So congratulations
Well, I
on it, man. It's
appreciate
another
that.
masterpiece. And please, guys, go grab it.
Yeah,
You'll
I
be
appreciate that. If you guys are interested, just reach out. Awesome job talking softball. We're ready for it. Yeah, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Game Time with the Goss, powered by Grey Wolf Promotions and Canine Kind Resort. And thanks to Kenny Matthews with Friday Night Glory and Inside High School Sports. Until next time, I'm Brian Goss with GM Sports Media. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'd like to thank our proud sponsor, Grave of Promotions. Looking to amp your fan gear fundraising? Contact Grave of Promotions. My man Bill Webb out in Hearst does it right. You need t-shirts for your next high school season, swag for your playoff run, hats, bags, and more. Check out Grave of Promotions today. Give them a call at 817-868-9653. Check out their website, graveofpromotions.com, or email sales@graveofpromotions.com.